Hey, basketball fans, want you to type me if you want more NBA videos here on Chat Sports. Look, it's been a busy month in the NFL. Free agency, the draft, but guess what? We're ramping up our basketball coverage because the summer's almost here. We'll have the NBA draft, free agency, all kinds of stuff planned for you guys. So go ahead and type me if you want more NBA videos up on the channel. With that being said, let's jump into today's episode of NBA Now. We'll start with LeBron James. Mark Berman of the New York Post did a mailbag earlier this week and said, look, I'll never rule out LeBron playing with the Knicks before his career ends. And a lot of you guys are probably saying, why would LeBron go to the Knicks? He's not saying in the near future, maybe for like his final year or something like that. Obviously, he's under contract with the Lakers through 2022, but keep a couple of things in mind. LeBron loves playing at Madison Square Garden. He's talked about that a bunch. And he wants to play at least one season with his son, Bronny James, in the NBA. That's still a few years down the road, so it's very conceivable that LeBron would not finish his career with the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's a deeper dive in from what Mark Berman had to say about this particular topic, saying a lot depends not just on how his Lakers title journey pans out, but his son Bronny's timetable. Bronny James, finishing his freshman year at Sierra Canyon High School, is 15 years old and is not eligible for the NBA draft until 2024 under current guidelines. James, whose Lakers contract expires in 2022, would be 39 by then. He's made no secret of wanting to play with his son. That would be the first in NBA history. James is conscious of his legacy. Finishing it out in New York could add to his place in history. His career at the Garden, he's been fantastic. 28 points, 7 boards, 7.5 assists every time he plays at the Knicks arena. He's talked about it a lot throughout his career, why he likes playing there, just kind of the aura of playing at Madison Square Garden. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to join the Knicks. If I were him, I wouldn't go anywhere near that organization, but it's something interesting to think about as he gets into the latter part of his career as he's 35 years old now. So what do you guys think? What team will LeBron finish his career with? Type your answers down below. I'll still stick with the Lakers because he's got a production company. It's Elway. It's Hollywood. Why would he go anywhere else? But LeBron has played for 3 franchises, so it would not shock me if he finished somewhere else. All right, guys, Mother's Day is less than a week away. Sunday, 6 days away from now, chatsports.com/mom. You go to that link, Pro Flowers is going to hook you up with 15% off a bunch of different flowers. I got gifts as well, chocolates, all kinds of stuff. Spoil your mom on Mother's Day. It's what we should all do. I've already ordered a couple of bouquets. She doesn't know it's coming. Hope you're not watching this video, Mom. But go to that link, chatsports.com/mom. The link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. 15% off. And then you don't have to battle all the crazies at the store, the morning of. Just get it ordered. They'll take care of it all for you guys. More on the Knicks, and this is probably more likely. Could they trade for Chris Paul this offseason? This isn't the first time we've talked about this. Ian Begley has reported this a couple of times now, that they're very interested in bringing CP3 on board for his leadership. They like the idea of bringing him in there, a strong veteran presence with a lot of young pieces. The Knicks are intrigued by that idea. Obviously, Chris Paul is closer to the end than he is the beginning, but he was having a strong season in OKC before the NBA was suspended. Almost 18 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting pretty well from the outside as well. Oklahoma City was one of the surprise teams in the NBA, and Chris Paul was a big reason why. So, look, his contract's not great. 2 years and $85 million left on that deal, but maybe it's worth exploring if you're the Knicks. I mean, they haven't had a superstar come there in quite some time. Maybe Chris Paul could be a piece you bring in, help guide some of those young pieces, and at least become a little bit more relevant than you've been in recent years. Should the Knicks trade for CP3? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think if the trade package is right, why not? He's only got 2 years left on that deal. Is it a lot of money? Yes. But you're the Knicks. You're desperate. You need something to sell to your fan base. So go ahead and cast your votes down below. And they've got some salary cap flexibility because obviously they couldn't just bring on his $40+ million per year salary without trading a couple of pieces and getting rid of some contracts. Here's the deal. Bobby Portis, $15.5 million. It's a team option, so they can let go of that Taj Gibson, $8 million or over $9 million, but only $1 million is guaranteed. Ellington and Payton, only $1 million guaranteed after this season. So they can get out of these contracts by either trading or releasing these players and only have a few million bucks in dead cap money, essentially. Reggie Bullock, another one with only $1 million guaranteed as well on his contract worth $4.2 million. So the Knicks have some flexibility on their roster in terms of salary cap. I will give them this. Last summer when they missed out on big free agents, they signed a bunch of smart contracts for this next offseason. So they did a good job there. This is a trade package I threw together. Here's the deal. Knicks get Chris Paul. Reggie Bullock and Kevin Knox head to the Thunder. Thunder get a nice young piece in Knox, get a shooter in Bullock, and a 2020 first-round picks via the Clippers. Now, I don't think the Knicks would trade their high first-round pick, but that pick will be around 27, 28, maybe even 30, so that might be worth it if you're the Knicks. Who wins this trade? Type K for Knicks, type T for Thunder. I actually still think the Thunder win this trade because they get out of his contract, they get a young piece and a draft pick as well. But if you're the Knicks and you're desperate enough, I expect them to be very, very aggressive this offseason. This might be something worth pursuing. We hope subscribing to Chat Sports is something you've already pursued or will very, very soon. Go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. I told you guys, look, it's been kind of a dead month in the NBA. That's not the case moving forward. We're closing in on the summer. Hopefully playoff action returns, but if not, we got the draft. We got free agency. We'll have mock drafts coming up on the channel. Lots of trade rumors will continue to heat up. So go ahead and subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv, but just hit that big red button. All right, let's talk about Giannis. The Giannis Warriors thing, it's just not going away. This thing continues to circulate. Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer said earlier this week that Giannis is the Warriors' #1 target this offseason. He's who they want. He's who they're eyeing. This isn't the first time this has popped up, but apparently they might take a swing at trading for him this summer rather than waiting for him to potentially hit free agency after the 2021 season. I'll be fascinated to see how the Giannis thing plays out over the next 12 months because obviously the Bucks are having a great year, but if no playoffs return, that means he might explore other options. Here's O'Connor diving deeper here. People say, how would you get Giannis? Well, when you have multiple salaries, Wiggins or Draymond, that you could move your first-round pick this year and that very appealing Minnesota pick next year. But that's, of course, a pipe dream, but a dream nonetheless, and it's worth pursuing. Totally agree. There's no harm in at least checking in on the Bucks and seeing if they're willing to move on from Giannis. 30 points, 14 boards, 6 assists. He was probably going to win the MVP this year. Hopefully he does because that means the basketball season has returned. That is what we are all hoping for, but he's arguably the best player in the NBA at this point, even passing LeBron probably. He is absolutely fantastic. So I threw this together. I still don't think it's enough. Giannis to the Warriors for Andrew Wiggins to match up the contracts and 3 first-round picks, including that Minnesota pick next year, which will probably be in the top 5 that Golden State got from the Wiggins trade. But I'm not taking that on the Bucks. 3 first-rounders and Wiggins. The only way I am trading Giannis is if he goes to that organization and says, I don't want to be here. So I want to tell you guys so y'all can get something in return. That's the only way the Bucks trade Giannis. But, hey, if you're Golden State, there's no harm in checking in on the Bucks for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who will Giannis win his first NBA title with? Type B for Bucks or type O for other? Tough to say, right? I mean, I think over the next few years, if he stays in Milwaukee, they will certainly be in the mix and be one of, if not the team to beat in the East. But how patient will he be? I think if they go the next year or two without winning a title, he will look at other options. I will reluctantly type my B for Bucks because I think if the season resumes this year, they'll have a good chance. But if they don't win it this year, I would be typing my O for other. All right, Victor Oladipo and the Pacers had been working on an extension before the season, but his injury recovery took longer than expected, only played in 13 games, and now the season's suspended, and he didn't play that well. So what is the latest? The 4 years and $80 million is what they were flirting with before this season started, and that would have been a great deal, right? Because he was making $21 million next season, which is actually would have been less per year on an extension if they got him at 4 years and $80 million. That kind of sounds a little bit rich now for a guy who has had a couple of major injuries now, was only averaging 14 points in limited action this year, shooting less than 40% from the field. So this is kind of one of those sticky situations. If you're Indiana, the risk here is, well, he's under contract through next season, so we can worry about this next offseason. Well, what if he balls out and then all of a sudden he's a max contract player? that's the risk you take. Oladipo's only 28 years old, so we will see how this plays out. I think 12 months ago, 4 years and $80 million would have been a no-brainer, but now I am not so sure. Do you guys think Oladipo is worth $20 million per year? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. The tricky situation here as well is the salary cap might actually go down in the NBA with the whole China fiasco and now the pandemic we're dealing with. So I'll be fascinated to see what happens there. $20 million per year right now feels a little high for Victor Oladipo. But again, a couple of seasons ago, 2017 through 2019, I think it would have definitely been worth it. 22 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 46% of the field. But in that 2018 season, that 2018-2019 season, he had that brutal injury. Hasn't been the same since he's returned. So we will see what happens. I'm pulling for this kid because he was becoming one of the best young stars in the NBA before the injury, but just has not looked the same. We'll see if Indiana views him as a major piece of their future. They have an extra year to work with, so keep that in mind as he is not set for free agency until after next offseason, but an extension could be in the works for Oladipo and the Indiana Pacers.